Hi guys. For those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Catherine and I tell true stories. Well, my setup is a bit different today because the weather has been quite cold and I just decided to have some sunlight through my window. So let's get to today's story. Well, my story today is about, witches. It's Christmas Day and I know some of you are wondering, oh, Christmas Day and she's talking about witches. Well, this is one of the failed witches, a witch who failed tremendously, a witch who tried to commit murder, to kill, but failed tremendously because of the fate of its target, of his target. I don't know whether it was a woman or a man who was trying to do this, but this is what happened. You know, we take you back to Kenya. In Kenya, we have so many tribes, but this tribe is from the western part of Kenya. This happened to a tribe in western part of Kenya in a family. You know, in the western part of Kenya, we have a tribe called the Bukusus. They come from Bungoma, which is not quite far from Uganda. And the Bukusus have clans, several clans in them. And this now happened to the clan called the Bamutus. The Bamutu is just a clan in a Bukusu tribe. So we're not talking about the tribes here, but what somebody tried to do to cause havoc to this clan. So it began. Let me give you a reason why, first of all, somebody would love to cause havoc just to a clan or just to people. You know, Western Kenya is kind of a up country, and normally up country has a lot of jealousy, not just up country, but let's say in general all over the world. But I can say it's congested more up country because up country has a bit of different classes of people mixed up completely. Like some people have retired and they've gone and settled up country. And so there's a lot of jealousy from the people who have already settled there because they look at the people working in the city like, what are you coming here to do? You're coming to take our land. We belong here. Things like that. Not knowing that the cities most of the time are just for people to working and then they settle back up country in their country where their homeland belongs. So up country has a lot of things like jealousies. Your kid passes an exam, there is jealousy. They will be celebrating with you, but in their hearts, it's really paining them, and especially if their kid has not performed well, and even if they don't even have kids, it's just, I don't know whether it's a curse or what. People just don't like to see others prosper normally up country. Somebody starts maybe a business and somebody tries to make it fail. Somebody maybe tries to raise a few chicken here and there, and then somebody comes and steals them. Not that they need them, just that you don't have them or just to frustrate you. Things like that. Small, small, petty, nonsensical things, you know. Somebody goes abroad from a family, there is jealousy from other families around because their own has not. Or somebody now who went abroad comes back, they come and ask, you came back from abroad? Because they think that something bad happened and now you're back. They think they pretend that they're sympathizing with you, asking you what happened. When you tell them, oh, I'm just on vacation, whoop, they feel bad because they know that things are not bad as they wish they were. People will be in a burial mourning, but in their murmurs, you will hear them saying how happy they are that this has happened to these people finally. So now this is where the jealousies come from. There is this guy, let's call him Wanyama. Wanyama settled up country after he retired from the city. And right from the moment that he settled, he had built a very beautiful house in the up country. And once he settled there, havoc began, drama began. The people around never liked it because they believed that he belongs to the city and not around there, and he's come to take their land. Well, This is how the drama began. Many times, they even sent people to shoot him, but things never worked. The people who tried to shoot him, 3 people tried to shoot him. They say every time they will point a gun at him, the energy will just get finished. And they used to do this at night because this fellow somehow used to go out and walk around the compound for a while before to make sure that things are good before he goes back to lock the doors of the house, because he did not have a security guard. And they knew his routine. So every time he will come out, they will point a gun. And then they say that things, they lost energy. I mean, they didn't have the strength to do it. This was actually a story from one of them who tried to do that, and he became a pastor. A pastor. He began his own his own church, so he says, his own church. So this is just one of the things they tried to do, and they failed to kill him. And another one thought that consulting a witch doctor would be the best because witches are very strong, so they believe, but not stronger than God. They are not stronger than God. And this Wanyama happened to be a very prayerful man, very prayerful, to be honest. Went to church every day, or rather goes to church every day because he's still alive. And they were trying all these witchcraft techniques on him. There is this thing that they believe that witches do to kill people, you know, to kill people. Like they tie a string together like that, and then I don't know, put something inside and tighten it, and the person dies in whatever way. Maybe when if the person is traveling, he'll have an accident, or he will choke if he's eating or something. I don't know. It's called the witch's string or the witch's. I have no idea because I'm not a witch. For those of you who think I am, so this is what happened before they failed. This witch failed tremendously. The Bamutu clan began losing relatives one by one. One by one. You know, have you been to this thing like you go for a funeral up country, then you're going back to the city and you call back for another funeral, you go attend, you're going back to the city, you call back for another funeral a few weeks later or a few days later. So you wonder, should I just stay here and wait for the next or should I proceed? That happened to the Bamutu clan that particular time. Somebody came to who also is a friend of these witches who are consulted. Somebody was a friend of somebody who consults the witches and decided to tell the story of what had happened actually. The person came up with the story of, first of all, it was the sister of Wanyama who died first. And the person said that Wanyama had gone for a funeral of some person in the village and was standing next to his sister. So whoever is supposed to throw the witchcraft, whatever they throw, I don't know, threw it in that direction. And the next day, the sister died. The sister of Wanyama died, but the spell was supposed to be thrown to Mr. Wanyama, but instead the sister died. That was the first death. Next, there was a ceremony, a wedding ceremony, and Mr. Wanyama attended. It's like this person who was supposed to be casting spells was following Mr. Wanyama everywhere. It's like he knew where he's going all the time. Because at every funeral, he will come and ask, is it Mr. Wanyama who died? And then they will tell him, no, it's not Mr. Wanyama. But actually, they didn't know why the guy was asking. In every funeral that happened, the next funeral was of Mr. Wanyama attended a wedding. And in that wedding, he attended with one of the Bamutu clan relative. And after the wedding, that person he attended with died. Now, Mr. Wanyama was quite worried, like, how come everybody I'm attending with dies? Should I just stay in the house or what's going on here? And the guy again came and asked during the burial, is it Mr. Wanyama who died? But it wasn't him. It's like he threw a spell again at Wanyama, but the guy who was with Wanyama is the one who died instead of Wanyama. Then those who attended the funeral went back to the city, then came back again for another funeral. You know, funerals are not cheap, so the pockets were being drained. Their pockets were being drained because going back and again being called back for another funeral, another spell was thrown. And guess who was at that particular event that time? The first one was a wedding, and the second one was a burial of the guy that had attended a wedding with Mr. Wanyama. And still, the guy who was throwing the spell was not tired. He threw another spell during that burial that this Bamutu man had attended. Of course, Wanyama was there because he was his friend. And guess who it struck? It struck Wanyama's nephew, old nephew, because he was standing next to Wanyama when the spell was thrown. Another person dead, another person attending the same event with Wanyama dead, and not Wanyama. You know how many people died? 6 people died in a month during that year. I can assure you it was 2019. 6 people died in a month in a row, like a serial killer from the same clan. And people were wondering, what has somebody thrown to the clan? But in reality, somebody was aiming at Mr. Wanyama. Somebody was aiming at Mr. Wanyama because the person thought that Mr. Wanyama is the happiest man in the clan. He's not having any issues. But the thing is, he just knew how to handle his issues. You know, most of the people look at people and think, oh, this person is happy, he has no problem. Nobody on this earth is fully happy unless you die, until you die and go to heaven. Yes, you can be happy, not sad, but it's nobody in this world does not have problems. Everybody has. Only the way people handle them is different. So the way Wanyama handles his problem is not the way people handle theirs. These people are hacking each other, hacking their wives, killing each other over land issues. And they look at this guy and wonder, and this guy, what's the problem? He's not having any issues. Let's cause issues for him. So this guy of the spell finally gave up because he was trying to target a wrong person, a person who prays a lot. So if you are afraid of witchcraft and you want to protect yourself, of course there is a stronger power than witchcraft, and that's God. So if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. Ciao. See you in the next video.